Hey guys, I am going to go through the Unit 6 review, mostly because we really didn't have time to finish it in class. So I told my students today that I would make a video, and I also told them it's very important that you finish this. It is worth 50 points, but there may be some bonus points involved if a completed one is submitted. So keep that in mind. Hopefully some of you in-person students are watching this and getting some answers. I'm not going to do every one. I'm going to mix it up and just kind of do maybe one from each section. So numbers 1 and 2 is talking about naming the polynomials, and this came from lesson 6.1 where there were two charts and you named based on two things. The first one is the degree. That's the highest exponent. So in this case, the highest exponent is 4. If you look by degree where it says 4, that's quartic. And then the other thing is the number of terms. We have 1, 2, 3 terms. So it is a quartic trinomial. Number 4, this is where we get into the graphing area and doing a few things. So you first need to start by going to your y equals and typing this in. Negative x cubed minus 2x squared minus x plus 3. And once you type that in, you can look at the graph. And you'll need to sketch it out. On the test, it will help, especially with the increasing, decreasing. I'm not a super fan of this picture. I like ones that are a little more obvious with their ups and downs, and I didn't really pay close enough attention when I made this worksheet, so sorry about that. But this right here is a minimum, and this one is a maximum. It doesn't go straight across, so it is slanted ever so slightly. But before we do that, let's do the end behavior, which is where it's blank left, blank right. Now, if we look at the left side, my arrow points up. So it rises on the left side, and it falls on the right side. Then we're going to actually find the maximum and the minimum. And you do that by going to second trace. Minimum is number 3. So we're going to find that minimum. And it's basically negative 1. It's negative 0.99999. So negative 1, 3. And then we click second trace again to go do the maximum. And it's negative 0.3, 3.1. And then last we need to do increasing and decreasing. So for these, let's refer back to our max and mins, and we write the x values where those max and mins are. That's all we care about for increasing and decreasing. The left side gets a negative infinity. Even though this one's pointing up, we are really focusing on left and right. And left is negative, right is positive infinity. So it increases, it decreases, starting at negative infinity, going to 1, it's decreasing. And then it increases very slightly from negative 1 to negative 0.3. and then it decreases again from negative 0.3 to infinity. Any questions like these? Your test is pretty much multiple choice or check all that apply. So like I may ask, select the decreasing intervals, and you would select both of those. So you don't have to actually write it out. Let's see, let's go down. This next section is difference of squares. So I'm going to do number 8. Now this one, to do difference of squares, reminder, your formula is a plus b, a minus b. And to find your a and b, you have to take the square root. Well, 27 and 3 are not perfect squares. So that is your hint that there is a GCF. What number can you divide both 27 and 3 by? 3. And when you divide by 3, you get 9v squared minus 1. So then we find our a and b. The a, that's the square root of 9v squared, which is 3v. And b, that's the square root of 1, which is 1. So when we write our final answer, we start with our GCF of 3, and then we write 3v plus 1, 3v minus 1. Okay. Now the next section is sum or difference of cubes. Let's see, let's do number 10. So this is a difference. So our formula is a minus b, a squared plus ab plus b squared.
Tiny Weaver, report to the office. Tiny Weaver.
So our a, we take the cube root of 64m cubed. Well, the cube root of 64 is 4, and then 4m. For b, that's the cube root of 1, which is 1. Then we got to do a squared. That's 4m squared. And we just square both 4 and m. That would be 16m squared. Because 4 squared is 16, and, well, m squared is m squared. And then ab, that's where we multiply them. 4m times 1 is 4m. And then b squared, 1 squared, is 1. And then I just plug it into the formula. Notice all of these parts are right in order with how I wrote them out. 4m minus 1, 16m squared plus 4m plus 1. Okay. This next section is factoring trinomials. So that is where we look for two numbers that multiply to be 15, but add to be 8. Those numbers are 5 and 3. So our answer is b plus 5, b plus 3. Now, if there's a number in front of that x squared, like in number 16, that means you have a GCF, and that GCF is going to be that number. So in number 16, you would have to factor out or divide out the 4, and then you would follow those other same steps. Factor by grouping, that's where we draw the line down the middle, and we look at each side individually. So on the left, there's nothing that goes into both 3 and 8, but I can factor out a squared. And when I take out a squared, I'm left with 3a plus 8. On the right side, 9 and 24 are both divisible by 3. So when I divide by 3, we're left with 3a plus 8. And our final answer is a squared plus 3. We take the outside part, and then 3a plus 8, the inside part. Number 20, it says to find all x-intercepts. Just do this in your calculator. Go to your y equals and type it in. X cubed minus 7x squared plus 12x. And look at the graph. Now you can't see my calculator, so you need to do this on your own to make sure that you know where I'm getting this from. So if I look at the x-axis, and I'll just sketch out what the graph looks like. What actually crosses there is that spot. So it crosses here at 0, and then if I count over, 3 and 4. So my x-intercepts are 0, 3, and 4. All right. Then we get into synthetic division. I loved this. This is the last thing that we did. So we start with our box. If you don't remember this was 6.11. Negative 2 goes in the box. And then across the top, 2, 8, negative 1, negative 11. And remember our steps. Bring down, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. So bring down, then we multiply. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. Then we add. 8 plus negative 4 is 4. Then we multiply. Negative 8. Then we add. Negative 9. Then we multiply. 18. Then we add 7. Now in the notes, we learned kind of how to write this out as our answer. But on the test, it only says what is the remainder. So if this was your question, you would select 7. Because 7, that very last number, that is your remainder. So you would only answer 7 if this was on the test. Now, number 24, the directions just say simplify. So we kind of have to look at the question to know really what we're supposed to do. And we are subtracting. So when we are subtracting, first of all, we rewrite our first set of parentheses. We want to turn it into addition, but to do that, we have to change all of the other signs. So that becomes negative 6a squared plus 3 minus a to the 4th. This is way back in 6.1 when we did this. And then we just add straight down. 5 plus 3a to the 4th minus 13a squared. The only other thing that we need to do is put them in the correct order. We always write them with the biggest exponent coming first. 3a to the fourth minus 13a squared plus 5. Number 26, this time we're multiplying. Notice how those parentheses are right next to each other. That means we're multiplying. So we're going to use the box method. So first we do 8r times 3r. 24r squared. 8r times 4 is 32r. Negative 6 times 3r is negative 18r. And negative 6 times 4 is negative 24. We write our answer. 24r squared. We have two boxes that have just an r, so we can combine those. Negative 18 and 32 is 14r, and then minus 24. Don't forget, your test is tomorrow. If you're MyRock Online, it'll be posted tomorrow. If you're in person, you have to take it in person. Don't let this get by because you have to have this turned in by Friday. That is the last day you can do this. Friday is the last day for late work. That's 4 days from now. So you cannot put this test off or you will get a 0 on it and that will kill your grade. So make sure you do it. Please finish the review, get all of it done, and you will get some bonus points on the test. Plus it is a 50-point homework assignment. So it's really important that you do this. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Have a great day.